I really don't know what to say during gameplay videos. Well, first off, hello, I am Drayhon, the host of the channel, and today is the first episode of Minecraft Pocket Play. I'm calling it Pocket Play because it is using Pocket Edition version of Minecraft, which means I am on a phone. Like I am for every single one of these videos that you will be seeing on this channel. I don't have a computer, so I do not get to use Java. I am instead going to be using a quote-unquote Bedrock edition, which is why you are going to be seeing certain structures generating in weird spots compared to Java edition. Now, if you have been following my community page, you know exactly what is going on with this seed. As you can see on the map currently on screen, I am using Chunk Base to show you what is going on with this seed. Currently, I only have the spawn point, the villages, biomes, and villager outpost, as well as the witch hut being shown. There is a lot of stuff going on with this particular seed. The immediate spawn area is, of course, this dark oak forest, which has originally just one pale garden. But thanks to the newest update of 1.21.7, the amount of pale gardens in this dark oak forest has increased to be 2 large blobs, both on either side of the spawn point, a medium-sized blob just to the left, and a couple of smaller outcroppings of dark oak, of pale gardens scattered about on the left-hand side of this dark oak. Now, we are going to be visiting a couple of other biomes in this video, as I will be deciding to collect some wood. One of the biomes that is nearby is a very small cherry grove that you can see over here on the right between 2 villages. The village closest to the spawn point is the one I am going after, so technically I am cheating a little bit by already knowing what structures are in the immediate area. And as you can see, there are 3 ruined nether portals in the dark oak forest, one just right outside of it in a jungle biome, or at least it's close to one. Let's see, can I look at it? No, I cannot. Okay, we'll just ignore that for now, but in this area, just north of the village that we will be visiting, is an outpost, and a little bit north of that are 3 more villages. Just to the east of the outpost is another portal. And the eastmost village of this outpost is a village pretty much surrounded by cherry grove. To the south of our main village is a village that is halfway in a swamp biome, which actually does produce swamp villagers, which is pretty neat. And in this very same swamp are 3 witch huts, which we might visit in a later video. Not immediately. We'll probably do something else. But as you can see, there is just a lot going on. If I were to zoom out here, just based off of villages, outposts, and portals, there's a lot. And we haven't even tackled what's going on in the water. which we might tackle at a later date. But there are definitely a lot of ruins and even a few monuments in these water masses. Now, in the village that we are going to be going to, with this little landmass being surrounded by a river, which I gotta say is a really long river, but anyway. Inside this river is actually some ocean caverns, which, yeah, there's going to be a lot there as well. But one thing that is not shown through this journey through the Pale Garden are lush caves that are dotted around this area. The only form of green in this Pale Garden are the azalea trees that mark the lush forest. Now I'm going to try to keep some of these areas intact for now, as I would like to save the experience of collecting these trees for a later date. My main focus is just to get to this village. Now, I think the next episode is going to be the outpost, at least just to show you what's going on over there. I definitely will not be able to tackle it in full, as it is attached to a rather steep ledge. But I should be able to experience a couple of other things while I am in this seed. This would actually be the perfect seed for what a lot of Minecraft players call their forever seed. Just a world that you are always going to be playing in, even after you have beaten the Ender Dragon. And seeds like this that are perfect for discussion when talking about tabletop role-playing games, which is probably going to be the one thing I'll be talking about during these videos, is how you can incorporate the mechanics of Minecraft into your tabletop worlds. Using the biome generation to build your map, and even generation of structures for adventuring in this world. I mean, just take a look at how close each of these villages are to each other. You have 3 over here in the east quadrant, far away from this main group of 5 that I had showed you earlier. And if we were to go southwest, there's even more. And it is a large diversity of biomes. So you would be able to have a large diversity of basically ethnic groups of different cultures just in villagers alone. And missions would be easy to acquire, as there are many outposts around here as well. You can even see in this snow biome that an outpost is pretty much right next to this village, which we are going to be tackling a couple of different topics like the village at a later date, because I want to be able to sort of remodel the different villages that I come across to show you how you could upgrade your villages. Give them some biome flair to make them a little bit more interesting to look at. I guess this would be a good time to mention that a bunch of different Minecrafters are doing something similar to the concept that I'm going to be tackling. The series Minecraft Misadventures. A bunch of Minecraft YouTubers are going to be tackling the seed that they will be traveling in and remodeling to make it more of a RPG style adventure. And that's sort of the idea that I had prior to them making their first video. So anyway, I think I have talked enough. Let's go ahead and see what I have been up to since this point. And with about 3 hours of off-camera time, I have gotten myself a little bit of a base camp here. Just a tent, a small garden, and right over here, a tree farm. Nothing special, just some rudimentary that I have been chipping away at, or I guess I should say chopping away at, as I have been trying to get the right amount of trees in this farm. Currently trying to do a 10 by 10 trees. Not blocks, trees. So far I've got, I guess, 8 this way, or was it 6? I don't have it all the way to 10 here. I have to move that fence gate right there in the back because I misjudged my measurements back in that direction where you see the rose bush in the far back over there. So I have to move it over to where I have this fence post. But yeah, it's nothing much, just a little something. I'm not going to be able to do a lot of big ol' mining sessions like it is memed about all over the internet. In fact, this is what I was just able to collect from the village and what time I was able to have to myself off camera. I was able to buy a couple of melon seeds from a wandering trader. I found some pumpkins over in that direction, and I was able to have this garden fully planted and grown a couple times over. I'll need to be harvesting this little collection soon, but I have done a little bit of exploring just in this immediate area. I do know there is the sliver of a jungle biome just over in that direction. As you can see, there is a cherry grove over there, and just in the distance over in this direction is a savanna. I'm sure while I was doing the 1 hour that I started here, I did show you the map of the immediate area. And if you had followed my community page, you do know about the villages that are close by, that I will have to be visiting at some point. But not in this video, probably in a couple of videos. Maybe that'll be something I do in episode 5. Here is what I have so far of the little tree farm. Again, nothing much. I've only got 2 beehives grown from these trees, which are currently full. So I'm going to need to do something with the honey or even honeycomb. What I've mostly been doing is trying to collect emeralds to try to get various tools to get ready for some bigger expeditions. Normally, I would be doing some leather collecting and trading with the 2 leather workers that are in this village. Sometimes I'll be able to have enough wheat to trade with a couple of these farmers. Speaking of, I have created extra composters for the villagers, as well as a smoker for when more villagers end up coming into this particular village, which is something that I'll be doing in the future as well. Trying to upgrade this village so that there are a couple of more villagers in these houses. Nothing crazy. Oh, hello there. One of the wandering traders that I have encountered did have a pickaxe for trade, which was interesting. Oh, neat. That actually might save me some time. Oh, what do we got here? A potion of invisibility, I'm guessing? Could be interesting. I would rather do some exploring than having to buy the saplings from the wandering trader. I'm able to find most of the trees just in the immediate area, as you probably saw from the... Here. Give me your leather. From, the short time that I had shown you during the time lapse at the start of the video. Nothing special. But yeah, every time I see those wandering traders, I'll be killing their llamas to get leather, because I need leather in order to get more emeralds, in order to get more supplies. Only have 4 leather, dang it. Alright, so I do have this little setup right here from the start. Just breeding up these cows the best I can and using them for sources of leather. Again, nothing too special going on there. Just a little bit of experience points and a little bit of leather to go off of. I guess, let's see, how much time do I got left in a day? Not much. I think what I'll go ahead and do is find some sheep real quick, get myself some more wool, and get ready to go to one of the 3 biomes that I just pointed out to do a little bit of resource gathering. Just being able to get ready for any projects that I have planned in future videos. Like visiting a couple of villages and rebuilding them. Giving them some upgrades. Give you some inspiration for your builds. You know, something like that. Here we are. There we go. How many was that? Perfect. That's enough for an extra bed. See, the Cherry Grove isn't too far from here. I think I'll go for that one and maybe the Savannah. The jungle wood is going to be a little bit of a distance over a hill in that area. Kind of around that mountain area. So that will be a distance. Probably something I do near the end of this video. At least semi-off camera to journey over there. I will travel to the Cherry Grove and the Savannah in this video on camera, since it's not that far. But as far as traveling to the jungle biome, I am going to be doing that off camera. That way I'm not wasting too much time on camera. Let's see, how much time is left in the day? Not much. I'll probably stay here for a little bit longer and organize my inventory. Let's see here. Let's leave the carrots and potatoes. You know what? Let's put them in here. Leads can go there. Don't need those. Don't need those. Leave those behind. Let's move. Okay, that's what I thought. go. That should save me some inventory space. Yes, I think that'll work. Alright. Another thing I was able to get from the Wandering Trader was this cactus, as you probably already saw. But when I first started growing it, it did give me a cactus flower, which was pretty neat. Again, nothing extraordinary going on for these first few days. I'm just doing some basic resource gathering to make sure I have the equipment necessary to do any future projects. Alright, let's go ahead and head on over to this cherry grove, since it is not too far away. I am going to go ahead and be speeding up the video now, just so it doesn't take too long for you all to see what is going on. Oh, look at that. We actually see one of the other villages. It's not too far from here. Very interesting. I might have to visit that at some point, but for now it's not really a necessity. Ten saplings should be enough. I'm going to collect some of these leaves, just because I think they would make for some good decoration in a build. Whatever doesn't decay is going to be collected. Couple of saplings down here. We'll just let those decay. See if we can find another lone tree. Ah, here we go. That one will work. Never mind. That one's got a beehive on it. I don't want to disturb the hive. Let's see. Let's do this one right here. This one should be fine. It's a good distance enough away from them. Good. I will plant that sapling there. Just so it doesn't grow while I am collecting. We'll leave that there for a moment while we collect the remaining saplings from this tree. See, anything of interest? Doesn't look like it. That is fine. I think what I'll do while I am still here is plant a couple more cherry trees just to make this grove a little more interesting, since it's so sparse. Not too many trees, just enough to have something to come back to. I think that'll work. Now let's put another sapling over here. That'll look nice. Collect me some more leather. Nope, no leather. Darn it. Alright, let's go ahead and collect my bed. Cave. Wonder if there's any iron on the surface here. Don't see any. That's unfortunate. Alright, let's head back around. Alright, let's go ahead and head on over to that savannah. Alright, we've made it to Savannah, and I am seeing the new warm pig. And the warm chicken. Honestly, the warm chicken looks a little bit better than the pig. Alright, let's go ahead and get to chopping. Oh, okay. Not what I want to say right now. Didn't drop any of the dirt. There we are. Very strange, very strange. Alright, there's one of those warm savannah cows. Very nice. Give me those saplings. There we go. good, very good. No, I don't have any torches on me, so even if I wanted to go into a cave, I couldn't. If these other trees have produced any more saplings. No, just a stick. Nothing from that one. Looks like there's a cave here. See if there's anything on the surface. That would be a negative. See if there's anything else around. Interesting. This ravine could be explored at a later date. Not really anything useful around here. Hello, where'd you come from? I don't see an entrance to a cave. Very strange. Almost as strange as the sparseness of saplings. Yes, I am quite aware that llamas are useful, but I do not need llamas as of yet. It'll be something I get later on, probably next episode, so I can travel to some of these other villages and bring some supplies with me. But at the moment, I can't really do much with them, other than get more leather, which now I've got 8, which is pretty good. I'll be able to get another trade from the leather worker at least. Get just one more sapling. I think that'll do it for here. Alright, let's go ahead and head on back. I think I'll do some more off-camera work, go ahead and get over to the jungle biome that I had mentioned, and I will see you at that point. Let's see, what can I talk about for the rest of this video? I know. How about we talk about the plans that I have for this series a little bit. If you saw my 2 videos on how to play Minecraft in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you might know where I'm going with this. In the 3 adventures inspired by Minecraft, one of the first things I talked about was random encounter tables. We actually have the spawn generation for Minecraft's mobs that we can use for this system. As you can see on screen, I already took the liberty of going through the mechanics for mob generation and try to convert them into a sort of percentile for what will be encountered during the course of your adventure in the wilds outside of villages. Maybe even inside the villages, I don't know. But a lot of people in the Dungeons & Dragons community sort of, I guess, demonize random encounters because it slows the game down. I don't see it that way. I see it as a way to fill your world with life. And the world is alive. We can actually see that if we look outside our windows at the real world. If you were to go outside right now, you'll probably encounter some birds chirping in the distance. If you're out in the sticks, you might see some squirrels running across the ground. Or maybe you'll see a fox pop out of the bushes. It's not just a stagnant world. There is life out there. And that is how we can use the random generation of mobs from Minecraft in our random encounters. For the conversion system that I had prepared, I took the percentile of each biome's mob encounter generation and converted it into a dice roll. As you can see with the plains biome, we have cows, chickens, pigs, horses, donkeys, and so on. It's pretty random. Only 46 different outcomes, with multiple animals having a higher outcome than others. Say the horse has only a 1 chance of spawning, while say the sheep has around a 4. Now it's not perfect. I actually had to increase this number to a 48 just so it can be divided into a die, a D12 in this instance. So it could be plausible to spawn multiples of the same animal. Now I have it to where in each different biome has a different number of these different sized dice to roll. For the plains, it was, I think, 4. While the desert only had 1. In the plain, the snowy plains had 1 die to roll because it didn't really summon much. 1 or 2 different animals and only a certain number of those animals. So I had to pick and choose how these generations would work. I might have to change things up a little bit, but for the purposes of a RPG system, this works fine. Because it's a living world. You're going to encounter random animals here and there. It's not that big of a deal. Another thing that I inputted was the nighttime encounters, which have roughly the same problem. Except they are more common of a spawn. For the daytime animals, let's see, what was it? I think it was, in Dungeons & Dragons terms, every 3 rounds of combat, a peaceful mob would spawn during the daytime, while at nighttime the encounters increased in likelihood. It was just at the end of each round. Now, of course, with spotting mechanics, it only happens within a certain distance of the player character. And I'll go ahead and show that part of the document on screen as well. But that's pretty much how it's going to go. It's going to happen within a certain time frame. It's going to happen with a certain amount of mobs at each interval. And there isn't really a limiting factor on how difficult a challenge could be. Say, for example, your players are still level 1. And if somebody happens to be staying up during the night, they might encounter an Enderman. Which, according to Minecraft's crossover of the Monster Compendium, the Enderman is a pretty difficult monster to face, especially alone. Which, yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to be a little harder for an inexperienced player to take on an Enderman than a more experienced player. And this can be said about, say, a zombie or a skeleton. At level 1, it's going to be a decent challenge, but once you are a higher level, it'll be a little easier to take out the basic zombie or the basic skeleton. So you'll want to change things up a little bit and give them a tougher zombie or a tougher skeleton to fight. It's basic, it's doable. But it also makes sure that your players know that your world is alive. It is not tailor-made to them. The stereotypical sandbox encounter. And that's why I think this would work pretty well for your RPG system, especially one inspired by Minecraft. You can use this for just about any system. You don't have to use the Minecraft mobs exactly. You could change things up a little bit. I mean, Dungeons & Dragons has their own encounter tables. You could use them and stick to, I guess, the general idea of how things could be encountered. Every 3 rounds of quote-unquote combat, your players could see a herd of cows walking through the field, or maybe they encounter a traveling merchant, or maybe there is a giant walking past one of the nearby hills. You know, something random. They might not go and challenge that giant. They might not go and ask the wandering merchants what they have for trade, but they'll at least know that the world around them is alive. It's not stagnant. It's not tailor-made to them. You get what I'm getting at? Before we sign off, there's one more thing we need to discuss. A day and night encounter table is good and all, but what good is it if we can't use it? This is a problem that I've had with campaigns, and that we don't actually get to experience the nighttime. Soon as these sessions over, we take a long rest and end it there. We don't actually get to experience what a nighttime encounter would be like. So to, I guess, combat this, I put in a system for the conversion document to where players can experience a day-night cycle and choose to sleep, take the long rest when they decide to. But it doesn't skip over the night until the players all go to sleep, like a typical Minecraft game. So, with a daylight cycle, I went over the mechanics of Minecraft, and it seems that it's actually a decent number of rounds. Yes, you will have to keep track of the rounds of combat. In fact, it is 10 minutes of daylight, while nighttime is roughly the same time frame, 8 minutes and 20 seconds. 100 rounds of combat for a daylight cycle, while the nighttime is 83 rounds of combat. Sunrise and sunset is only 8 minutes each. I feel that this is a pretty decent system to use when you are talking about a day-night cycle. Now, I guess that does pose one small problem. How are we supposed to keep track of these rounds when we're not always in combat? Maybe we only have like 1 or 2 combat encounters. Well, that is a system that I had talked about in one of my videos. I think it was how to make combats go by faster. At the start of the day, everyone rolls initiative. And you keep that initiative order for the entire day. Even when you are not in combat, you treat the entire day as a combat encounter. You ask player 1 what they're going to do, what player 2 will do after that, and so on and so forth. Once you get to your final initiative player, you go back to the first, starting a new round of quote-unquote combat. And you keep track of how many rounds have passed until the final round of the day. And that's where our 100 rounds of daylight come in. And this could, in theory, help with anyone who has the ability to know how much daylight is left in the day. You could just go to your notes and say, yes, you have X amount of time left. It's somewhat simple. Yeah, I think that's about it. 100 rounds of daylight, then sunset begins. You have 8 rounds until the sun has completely set. Nighttime begins. Then you have 8 minutes and 20 seconds of night. Then sunrise begins. 8 rounds later, the sun is up and a new day has dawned. Simple enough, I would think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. So, yeah, that was today's video. Apologies if this wasn't as entertaining as you were probably hoping. It's only just starting out, and last time I tried doing a Minecraft Let's Play series, it was just as entertaining as this one. Anyway, I thought I would end this video off by being in my village and showing you this sheep that I had found a while ago. Yeah, naturally spawning pink sheep. It was just over in that area, just right on the coast. Thought I'd bring it over here to end this video off. I think next time we are going to be playing... I'm going to do a couple of improvements on this village, probably put up a wall kind of right in this area, just to make sure that no illagers try to get in. Or maybe I'll put up a couple of more houses, maybe improve some of these smaller buildings that don't have any houses or workstations. I don't know. Perhaps I'll even go to the Dark Oak Forest and the Pale Garden to check things out. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I should put up a poll. Have you all tell me what I will do next. Maybe even have a poll for what we will talk about in the next episode. That way these videos aren't stale. Making them a little bit more engaging. One thing I do know is that I do want to try to improve upon this village. Make things a little bit more interesting. Sure, we will be sticking to the aesthetic of each of these houses inside each one of these different biomes, but I do want to make things a little bit more interesting. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I do hope that you at least found my inexperience to be rather entertaining. Until next time, this has been Drayhan, and I am offline.